Good evening. This is GRTS News at 2200 hours with me, Winifred Nicole. In the headlines tonight, President Adama Barrow continues his Meet the People tour with meetings in Kantora and Tumana districts in the Upper River region, outlining his government's policies and priority areas. The Vice President presides over the National Social Protection Secretariat Committee meeting for the successful implementation of the social protection-related efforts in the Gambia. Retired Brigadier General Momodu Aliuba explains his arrest during the 2006 attempted coup as he testified before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Plus, the Gambia Radio and Television Services reflects on its development initiatives as GRTS set to celebrate 25 years of selfless service to the nation. In Nigeria, at least 17 students kidnapped by Boko Haram militants rescued following protests by residents for the release of the boys. And China's Chang'e 5 spacecraft successfully returns to Earth with rock and soil samples from the moon. Well, viewers, those are the headlines. Thank you so much for joining GRTS News once again. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, on Wednesday addressed meetings in Misiraba Mariama and Damfakunda in the Kantora and Tumana districts of the Upper River region. The meetings accorded the President the platform to outline his government's policies and priorities for the Upper River region, where several infrastructure projects are under construction. Momodu Jallo is with the entourage and filed in this report.
It has been 2 weeks since the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, began his Meet the People's tour. On Wednesday, the President and entourage held meetings in the Upper River region. The President was accorded a rousing welcome as he arrived in Misiraba Mariama. Young men and women on motorbikes and horses escorted him to the meeting grounds where people from across Kantora gathered for the historic meeting. Addressing the meeting, Demba Hydra expressed gratitude to President Barrow for coming to Misiraba Mariama, adding that this decision will forever be remembered by the residents of the village and Kantora. Whilst he acknowledged the existence of an Arabic school in Misra, he appealed to the authorities to build a school and skills center for the community. Alhaji Kibri Jaguraga said the people greatly appreciate the development projects across the country, but also appealed to government to construct the main feeder roads connecting the main settlements in Kantora. These concerns were shared by Hawale Bande, the women's councillor, who urged government to construct the Fatoto Bolibana road to save pregnant women the troubles of traveling to the main health facility in Fatoto. The National Assembly member for Kantora, Honorable Billet Tunkara, said Kantora has had its fair share of developments in the form of roads, bridges and vegetable gardens, and reassured President Barrow that they owe him a debt of gratitude which will be repaid in 2021. The President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, praised the people of Kantora for the reception, describing it as evidence of the overwhelming support he enjoys in the area. He paid tribute to the Alcalde of Misra and the elders and reassured them that his government will ensure that they get what no other government provided in the last 50 years. The Gambian leader said over the last 4 years his government has brought development closer to the people, adding that his track record speaks for itself. All this is possible because of the financial regulations my government adopted, which ensured that taxpayers' money was reinvested for development, the President told the people. He therefore called for unity amongst Gambians, arguing that the people should look inwards for development instead of depending on the outside. The President and entourage later drove to Damfakunda in Tumana for another meeting, which also saw an impressive turnout as people welcomed his motorcade amidst great fanfare. The meeting was also addressed by several people, including Maudo Suso, who called on residents to empower the President and his party to enable him secure another mandate to enhance national development. We have already seen the numerous infrastructural projects in our region, Maudo said, reassuring the President that the people of Tumana are all firmly behind him. Maudo appealed to government to provide a health center in Tumana, as it remains the only district without one, and expand the water and electricity supply to more inland communities. The representative of the women, Aja Fanta Keita, revealed that they have benefited from a government loan scheme initiated by the Ministry of Women, which has greatly empowered them, urging her fellow women to therefore repay this goodwill by massively registering to vote in the next elections. The Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamaden Keba, thanked the people of the Upper River region for leading by example, but cautioned supporters against any actions that would undermine peace. We are all one people, therefore let us unite and work together to develop this country, Hamad concluded. His colleague, Minister of Regional Government and Lands, Musa Drame, revealed that government will provide water to 5 communities in the area. This was in response to earlier requests from the speakers. The meeting wrapped up with the President's address, in which he thanked the people of the Upper River region for their unprecedented welcome accorded him and his entourage. President Barrow said his government is action-oriented as it seeks to transform the lives of rural communities who have long been neglected by successive governments. He promised that by the year 2025, his government will provide electricity to every household in the Gambia. Additionally, government will place ambulances in communities to evacuate patients and distribute tractors to farmers across the country in a bid to mechanize agriculture, President Barrow revealed.
Ambulance ol katara loptanol bari ñina lafta community ambulance nga wala star Gambia kono ambulance o etara community kono ala telephone number etara je nimmen surata la aya call etara la cordado ay samba e murunina wala senol fon la jorahol fanana ko fu jan kabirin na rambe fero ke ka wo fanana ngalo akibaro furatal mal bari nga tractol na atele ka bondi tuwawdu mina wo tractol fanan talala.
The president also cautioned the people against politicians who seek to confuse the masses with their political rhetoric, again that Gambians are now politically aware. He concluded by revealing that the year 2021 will be a defining one in Gambian politics, but expressed optimism that Gambians will make the right decision by giving him another mandate. The president and entourage left Damfakunda after what has been described as a successful meeting. The talk continues with 3 more meetings in the Woolies. Mamadou Diallo, GRTS News.
The National Social Protection Secretariat Committee on Thursday held its 4th meeting to discuss the way forward in implementing the social protection-related efforts in the Gambia with support from the World Bank. The meeting was presided over by the Vice President, Her Excellency, Dr. Aissatou Touré. Senabu Jain covered the ceremony held at the Sadauda Karaba Jawara International Conference Center and now reports.
The government of the Gambia, through the National Social Protection Secretariat, will house the first ever Gambia Social Registry. The Secretariat will continue to coordinate the data collection, registration process and poverty classification undertaken by the Social Registry. National Coordinator of the NSPSC delves into the implementing policies for the social protection programs.
Strong leadership is a vital element of spearheading sustainable social protection reforms. This committee is responsible for the implementation of the National Social Protection Policy 2015-2025. The goals of this policy focuses on addressing the gaps in coverage and alignment of programs and effective delivery to meet the varying needs of the population.
Stakeholders from various ministries and organizations were also present at the 4th quarter meeting. We've helped you move from exclusion to inclusion, said Gordon Jonathan Lewis, UNICEF country representative.
Any country that has a social protection system that is not able to measure with data, be it qualitative or be it quantitative data, exactly how many individuals are benefiting from social protection measures, but largely and more specifically, how do those social protection measures help that individual move from a point of exclusion to a point of social and economic inclusion is perhaps the greatest challenge that any country, not only the Gambia, has in terms of being able to say our social protection system actually works.
In improving the lives of the vulnerable and social protection leadership reforms, Her Excellency the Vice President dilated on the importance of the social registry.
The social registry data collection repository will initially be carried out in 30 districts, nourishing a database of approximately 80,000 households. The Gambia Social Registry will make the much needed information on demographic, socio-economic and disability available. The data collection on households shall also be rolled out to urban areas in due course. This will scale up and support the social protection harmonization, alignment, and monitoring efforts to bring about synergy in the Gambia social protection.
To facilitate the coordination of the social protection-related programs, the World Bank handed over 9 vehicles for the implementation of the project.
What we are about to witness is the handing over of vehicles that we have got under the Social Safety Net project. Because the whole issue is about the Gambia government supported World Bank project, which is equivalent to $31 million United States dollars. And you can hear from the speeches, there were so many things that are supposed to come from that money, like the establishment of the Social Protection Secretariat, the Social Registry. But there is one key element that we need in our departments, in our sectors. These are resources.
The social protection interventions in the country so far has served as a prime mover for the expression of the need for improving social inclusion. Zainab Jang for GRTS News.
More witnesses continue to testify before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Retired Brigadier General Momodu Aliuba, also known as M.A.Ba, is the latest to testify about his arrest during the 2006 coup attempt and his involvement in Lan Tombong Tamba's trial. Asato Jata has more.
The first witness to testify before the Truth Commission on Thursday was retired General Momodu Aliuba. His testimony centered, amongst others, on his release from prison in 2009 and his subsequent involvement in Lan Tombong's trial, which led to Tamba's conviction for his alleged involvement in the 2009 coup attempt. M.A.Ba said he was informed by Ndur Cham that he wants to overthrow the Jammeh government, after which he informed Babukar Jatta, the then Interior Minister, and Lan Tombong Tamba, the then Deputy CDS. He said he was surprised that General Tamba asked him to shut up, and he was later arrested and accused of being involved in the coup.
Read out his findings.
Bring Justice Ajim, I call him Brian Banke.
The President of the Court Martial.
He told Bunda in President. No.
Sajo Fofana then.
Sajo Fofana, what do you know?
Received a call.
I commanded on Soto.
In front of all of us.
Mbenya Laji.
Then, he went down.
Ajimita Duma.
Received the call.
I commanded on Inta.
He spoke to Agim. And they said they had a recession, I think. So they went on break. There, we were all worried. Because we don't know why the sudden break. So when they went into their chamber and came back, they said, we are all guilty. We are all guilty. We are all guilty and we were handed our individual sentences. I was handed 25 years.
Tamba was also arrested after M.A.Ba was pardoned, reinstated, paid back salary and promoted after serving 3 years 9 months in prison instead of the 25 years jail term ruled out by the court. The lead counsel, Isa M. Fall, put it to the witness that he was bribed to testify before General Tamba, but the witness strongly disagrees to that allegation.
Evidence was brought. You were induced to give that evidence. What I'm trying to drive at is, this it smells. And it smells of collision. It smells of a deal.
that secured your release from jail and propelled to higher positions at Army headquarters in exchange for some testimony. That sent Langtombong in jail for some other 25 years. That ran concurrently with his life sentence. You exerted revenge. No. Council, honey. What I believe was, it was Allah's time. Gave a statement which formed the basis of Lang's conviction, which occurred conveniently after you have received these 5 lofty benefits from the same government that wanted Lang in jail. And you gave this evidence almost contemporaneously with the benefits that you received. You cannot tell that that does not smell badly of collusion.
The second witness, Lamin Sonko, also called Falang, is a member of the United Democratic Party. He was part of the Solo Sandeng-led protest in April 2016. His testimony centered on their arrest and detention at Mile 2 prison. For the news, I am Aissatou Diatta Gassama.
Of recent, some part of the country have seen increased risks of theft of valuables from vehicles, assault, and residential burglary. However, these crimes are becoming more common despite efforts by the police to provide security for the safety of the people. Earlier in the news, we had the Police Operation Commissioner, Mr. Pate Jallo, to shed more light on these and other issues.
Of these news, obviously, are just been fabricated, I can call it. For that of the burglars attacking the High Court judge, the Supreme Court Judge Justice Awaba, that one is true. But then the police are doing everything possible to remedy such type of situations, and they are investigating to get the perpetrators to book. But for the car thefts and attacking people, like how it was put in the messages or audios, obviously it is unfounded. If they are founded, let them say or where they have ever reported such matters at the police stations, because the police are there for everybody. And I felt that if such a thing happened, the police should be privy, or they can say, per se, we have reported such a matter at a police station.
Okay, I think that is quite clear. Now, the police recently apprehended some suspected flat-screen TV thieves in Brusubi. Now, this means that the police are doing their best to control crime. But could it be also, could it also mean that the crime rate is rising?
Yes, it is rising, to be honest with you. I have to be very, very honest, because I'm speaking to the wall. Those TVs that were recovered, it was recovered in a sense after getting a tip-off, and we all know the anti-crime are always out there to combat such type of crimes. And thank God for their commitment and the information that they have got to act on such a matter. The perpetrators were arrested, and that's it. But the crime rate, obviously, as you rightly stated, it is increasing. Why? Because I can say it in such other way around. In a nutshell, yes, it is increasing, but then we are trying to do everything possible to remedy it. It is increasing because the tourism, it is not functioning as expected. It is increasing because of, we all knew, now the backway issue is at stagnant, is at standstill. Despite others are attempting to go, it is increasing. Good number of people who went through the backway are back, and some of these crimes, you know very well, they are alien to our society. So these are things that people should definitely look into, and we are looking into those things, and we are doing everything possible. Hence, we are the people responsible, or the units responsible, or the security setup responsible to combat crime and to make sure everybody's life is protected and properties also are protected.
Good. Now, Mr. Jallo, what is your message to the lawbreakers and to those intent on breaking the law?
My message to the lawbreakers is obviously come what may. If they don't desist or they don't stop it, this place is not for them. Let them look for other issues other than trying to break the law. The law is here for everybody. If anybody breaks the law, obviously the law will take its cost.
Moving on. The UN body in the Gambia, in consultation with its relevant stakeholders, are undergoing a day's validation workshop on the draft UN Common Country Analysis Report. The CCA report reflects an integrated analysis that captures the interlinked relationships, resources, information, institutions, and capacities necessary to formulate pathways to achieve the 2030 agenda. By Ibrahim Chan was at the conference and in this report.
In galvanizing support and a concrete vision for the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, UN norms and standards, and principles of the UN Charter, the UN body in the Gambia, in consultation with the Gambia government, has drafted the UN Common Country Analysis Report. The report is to be an impartial and collective analysis of a country situation used in developing the cooperation framework. According to the UN Resident Coordinator, Sarafina Wakana, the Common Country Analysis process aligned to the 2030 Agenda intends to leave no one behind. In this regard, the report internalized the SDGs in its own Sustainable Development Vision 2030, charting the development path of the next cooperation framework for the ensuing 5 years in line with the 2030 Agenda.
The CCA report provides an overview of the country context, especially as it relates to the current state of progress of the implementation of the 17 SDGs along what we call the 5 Ps, which are the people, the planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership, and focus on vulnerable populations, particularly those at risk of being left behind.
The Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, Jules Cisse, stated that the CCA report has come at the time of the mid-term evaluation of the National Development Plan. And this, she said, will give stakeholders the opportunity to examine progress, gaps, opportunities, and bottlenecks against the Gambia government's commitment in attaining the SDGs and NDP.
The scope of the CCA has been very comprehensive. It provides valuable situational analysis and identifies key development challenges. The findings will be useful and will inform not only the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework, but also provide valuable information for the formulation of the government policies and strategies.
For her part, Deputy Secretary General at the Office of the President, Salimata Toure, stated that the review of the CCA will go a long way in ensuring that plans, programs, and projects address risk and capacity gaps in the country's development plans.
With a strong leadership, clear and comprehensive strategies, consistent communication, and an engaged, empowered, and enabling population, we can do better with the new CCA moving forward.
The forum was later opened for a question and answer session, providing participants the opportunity to scrutinize the draft report before its validation. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm by Ibrahim Cham.
On the 24 hours, the Gambia Radio and Television Services, GRTS, will clock 25 years of operations in the Gambia. In the countdown to the Silver Jubilee, our reporter Uminjai takes a closer look at the national broadcaster's journey to date and had a chat with some former GRTS DGs who outlined some development efforts shaping the national TV.
The Gambia's national TV station sent its fourth broadcast signal in December 1995. The TV later merged with the national radio to become the Gambia Radio and Television Service. The birth of the new television was a dream come true for many Gambians who were looking forward to the day they would have their own national TV. 30 years after independence, GRTS has become a vital source of communication for the masses, serving most parts of the country and bringing
television in the Gambia. It was only RTS, so international news was mostly viewed through Senegal and in French. Even by then, the local news in Senegal on TV was not much. So you would see that when the TV came, it was welcomed because at least for the first time, Gambia has its own television and can showcase its own culture and social and economic activities.
On Friday, 18 December 2020, the TV arm of the state broadcaster clocks 25 years of operation in the Gambia, growing bigger and journeying to serve a wider audience. On its silver jubilee, we look back on the 25 years journey that has registered massive gains, but not without hitches along the way.
Well, funding had always been a challenge for GRTS, and I think the state is doing quite well, but they could do better. Because to be fair, no institution has enough funding in this country. But the critical nature of GRTS as a state broadcaster, I think, earns it the position to have a little bit more funding and training, especially for the staff that are needed to run this institution. I think government should show a little bit more commitment and take it up from where the initiators of this project took it. That's the former government.
GRTS TV began its transmission under the Gambia Telecommunications Company Gamtel, serving only the Greater Banjul area. Years on, as it expands on its transmission range, a couple of transmitting stations were instituted in the regions, giving space for a wider coverage. Throughout its 25 years journey, GRTS went through various Director Generals. Some of them shared their achievements and challenges whilst in office.
Came up with a working document that actually helped us to refocus our agenda, in ensuring that we have new programs and also ensuring that we have the right people at the right place. It was not easy to do those internal movements, but let me say that we had a very good board that actually supported us all through.
In 2002, GRTS moved to its current headquarters in Kanifing, built by the Gambia government. Some former DGs informed us efforts put in place to facelift the station.
Bringing in television broadcasting in this country, like I said, was a great achievement because it made us aware of many things. People were able to see a lot of things that in radio you just visualize them happening. But television was all out there to show you the National Assembly in session, state functions in session. You see a lot of things happening, and a lot of people wanted to partake, to show the rich culture that we have in the Gambia, to show what Gambians are doing. So in a sense, it brought about showcasing the Gambia.
On programming, the TV runs a host of programs from news and current affairs, education, health, technology, agriculture, religion, culture to entertainment. These programs air on both the TV and radio platforms.
One unique stone that you can see here right beside me.
De Télévision Nationale GRTS.
Ms. Ibrahim Chan presenting and co-hosting with.
So much for watching, and it's a bye from us.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to the Weekend Spectrum.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee With. I am your host, Saina Bujang.
As GRTS clocks 25 years, it's striving hard to continue to offer credible national service to its audience. Uminjai, GRTS.
The Committee of the Technical Vocational Education Training TVET on Thursday held its 10th annual committee meeting outlining the progress and challenges on the activities during the first quarter of the year. Baba Sila of our newsroom was at the meeting and filed in this report.
The Technical, Vocational and Education Training is a European-funded project implemented by the Ministry of Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology and other stakeholders with the aim of monitoring the activities and providing standard at vocational institutions. The day-long virtual conference availed officials the opportunity to outline the progress registered since the implementation of the project. The stakeholders at the virtual meeting also presented the activities of the project by lead organizations during the past quarterly year, as well as reviewing the overall progress and challenges in implementing the project roadmap. The head of the project unit at the Ministry of Higher Education and Director of Research and Development at NACA explained the genesis of the project and what it intends to achieve.
NACA is leading is to reinforce training and learning resources for promising value chains with high employment opportunities. And then here the main activity is addressing gaps in training by developing industry-led qualification. So as I speak with you with regards to this activity, also 10 areas have been identified through a curriculum needs assessment that was done by the authority and then funded within the framework of the UNESCO COICA project in the Gambia. These 10 areas, have come out very clearly to be areas in which, there are skill gaps, significant skill gaps for that matter, and in some of the areas there are skill shortages. So as a result, the authority would be leading the development of training standards and also teaching curriculum in these areas.
The aim of TVET is to give our youths and women the necessary skills, that is required, for them to be employed, and give self-employment to themselves, or create, that, entrepreneurship, for the young people, to serve as a guide, to coordinate, all the TVET initiatives, that are in this country.
The officials have discussed a wide range of issues, including challenges and successes, registers and finds means of addressing some of the challenges. According to officials, the committee meet every month to get stock of the past activities and policies for the successful implementation of the project by the various stakeholders. For GRTS News, I am Baba Silla.
The Gambia Prison Services receives 10 modern cooking equipment from Korea International Corporation at a ceremony held at the Mile 2 Central Prison in Banjul. The gesture is aimed at promoting hygienic conditions of inmates. Janketure reports.
Mile 2 is the oldest state central prison in the country. Since its establishment in 1920, firewood has been the means for cooking and other domestic uses in the facility. The carbon emission from these processes is by no small means a contributor to global warming. To this end, officials of the Gambia Prison Services took delivery of 10 new modern cooking equipment from the Korea International Cooperation Agency, COICA, through United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes. The gesture is part of the ongoing reform processes in the Gambia Prison Services to provide healthy and conducive environment for inmates. Kodjo Atisu is the program coordinator, UNODC.
The decision of purchasing the cooking material for prison was discussed and made jointly with the prison authorities during a need assessment mission conducted in the Gambia prison by UNODC in 2019. Indeed, the Director General of the prison indicated that the use of firewoods for cooking was extremely hazardous to the health of the prisoners. For example, the smoke from the wood invades the cell. It aggravates the health of prisoners by causing various respiratory diseases.
The modern cooking equipment being handed over here today will no doubt help to promote access to healthy and nutritious meals, as well as to promote a hygienic and conducive environment through the prevention of firewood, which is in compliance with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Its usage has caused the country environmentally through deforestation and land degradation, which resulted to increased climate variability. Environmentalists and actors in the development field are finding ways of migrating to the use of renewable energy, thereby reducing pollutants. The use of wood is the only product prison officials relied on to prepare the daily meals of inmates. With this gesture, the Director General of Gambia Prison Services, Ansman Mane, described it as a dream comes true. He further highlighted some of their challenges.
The routine of firewood fetching is done with great risk, such as inmates escape, vehicles breakdown, and very late return to the prisons. Moreover, the forest authorities have constantly raised concern about GBS felling trees, which contribute to deforestation. As the trees cut down are not replaced, that would certainly impact on the environment and climate change.
This intervention is very timely since the government of the Gambia has recently constructed this very new kitchen, replacing an old colonial one and another one at the Joshua prison, aimed at improving the cooking condition with high-quality food preparation for the entire prison inmates.
According to officials, 6 electric cookers will remain in Mile 2, and the rest will be distributed to Joswang and Janjanbureh prison, respectively. For the news, I am Janket Toure.
Women of Sare Samba Somali in the Lower Fuladu District, Central River region, have stressed the need for portable water supply in the community, fencing of their vegetable garden, fertilizers, seeds and other equipment to be able to start production in their vegetable garden. Majain Barrow has the rest of that story.
Vegetable gardening is one of the major activities of the community of Sare Samba Somali village, apart from groundnut farming. Vegetable farming is done not just for consumption in the family, but also for income-generating purposes. In some communities, women engage in commercial vegetable farming to help transform their lives. Some of the farmers engage in the trade and earn a good amount of profit from the business. But that is not the case for the villagers of Sare Samba, Somali, who barely have enough from their vegetable gardens to feed their families. According to the women, they work in the groundnut farms during the rainy season as a substitute. The women say they are constrained with water shortage, adding that access to clean water supply for consumption at home and garden production is a challenge for them. These women, who also do daily household chores, including cooking and laundry, also bear the burden of walking a distance of 1.5 kilometers carrying heavy loads just to fetch water for the family. And according to Adam Akante and Kajatumbalo, they do this several times a day.
We want a garden, but we do not have somebody to help us. We dig up to a place that we cannot control it. That's why we are working here. Today we come here and work for a garden. We are going to fetch from, the distance is from 1.5 kilometers. We need a borehole. We don't have enough water. That's why to have a garden here is a problem.
Garden kuwa ketanye kole ya kubalti. Garden ko nteleja jio ajamfata bakel.
The water level is low here, and the well is not deep enough. The local pump is not functional since last year, and we are yet to get support.
The women therefore appeal to the government, NGOs and philanthropists to come to their aid in order to end the water problem in their community, as well as establish standard garden facility that will change the social economic lives of the women gardeners and the villagers at large. Majan Barrow for GRTS News.
To the Lower River region now, where a 2-day training on the Local Government Act is underway in Mansakonko. The forum, organized by the Gambia Association of Local Government Authorities, GALGA, in partnership with the Directorate of Local Governance at the Ministry of Lands and Regional Government and the UNDP. The program targets councils, chairpersons, chief executive officers, and finance directors, amongst others. Our regional correspondent Alhaji Mbai tells us more.
The meeting brought together stakeholders in the local government structure to identify challenges faced by councils and discuss possible solutions in line with the Local Government Act. The forum, according to the president of GALGA, Landing B. Sane, will accord councils the opportunity to share best practices from their various strategic plans to align them with the National Development Plan.
We expect that this will propel issues that will probably look at what are the development challenges of our domain, particularly relating it to local governance, and also what probably are the opportunities that we may use so that we are able to deliver the services to our people adequately as it may be required. So that as we implement the National Development Plan and our various strategy plans, there is some way of synergy within the local government and the local government fraternity, so that we do not only create duplications, but also so that we are able to join hands, as local government authorities.
The CEO of Kanifing Municipal Council, Sainabu Martin Sonko, discussed some of the challenges that councils are faced with. She appeals for more clarification on tax collection mandates between councils and other government institutions involved in tax collection.
One of the challenges we are facing as local authorities is the issue of other government institutions that are competing with us in terms of collecting taxes. So this is something that we would like our parent ministry, the local government ministry, to look into seriously and trying to come up with solutions that will, even if we cannot continue collecting, we come up with a revenue sharing model for the local government and other institutions, or we try to separate the functions. Let it be clear to operators in the respective areas of operation, like in the tourism and the mining industry.
Usman Sonko, one of the trainers, explained that a critical understanding of the Local Government Act is crucial to the effectiveness of local government authorities.
As far as councils are concerned, the Local Government Act is the Quran or the Bible. It specifies the functions, responsibilities, and all those activities that councils are supposed to do as an institution. So their understanding of the Local Government Act, in fact, is the starting point of their work. The intention of the presentation is to help them to understand to their fingertip the Local Government Act, with a view to be able to do their work with a lot of ease, with a lot of authority and confidence.
The Finance Director of Banjul City Council, Mamadou Kamara, held the initiative, saying such trainings will help improve service delivery and resource.
Well, that was all we had time for in this edition of the news, but before we take leave of you, a recap of the day's top stories. President Adama Barrow has continued his Meet the People tour with meetings in Kantora and Tumana districts in the Upper River region, outlining his government's policies and priority areas. The Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Touré, has presided over the National Social Protection Secretariat Committee meeting for the successful implementation of the social protection-related efforts in the Gambia. Retired Brigadier General Momodou Aliuba has explained his arrest during the 2006 attempted coup as he testified before the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission. Plus, the Gambia Radio and Television Services have been reflecting on its development initiatives as GRTS set to celebrate 25 years of selfless service to the nation. In Nigeria, at least 17 students kidnapped by Boko Haram militants have been rescued following protests by residents for the release of the boys. And China's Chang'e 5 spacecraft successfully have returned to Earth with rock and soil samples from the moon. Well, viewers, that was all in this edition of the News at 10 from me, Winifred Nicole, and the entire news team. Thanks for watching and do have a pleasant night.
si almamo kumande pour kana duwa
yo imam ko ñom ñomé di ñaan
amin dem
imam amin dem bismillah
amin dem bismillah
salatu ala nabi salatu ala nabi
اللهم صل على اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا مولانا.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, as you have brought us here today again to come and grace this occasion, Lord Father, I invite all who are here, and I pray that, Lord Almighty God, as you have bring our President Adam